The deaths of U.S. troops in Afghanistan affects active duty soldiers on the ground in that war-torn country just as much as it does veterans who once fought in Kandahar, Jalalabad, or even Kabul. Our next guest is one of those vets. He served in Afghanistan and now, as a retiree, continues to advocate for veterans from the White House to Capitol Hill to his home in Florida. Retired Army Colonel DJ Reyes joins us this morning. Colonel Reyes, welcome to the show. Good morning.
Good morning, Terrence. How are you?
Doing well. Thanks so much for taking some time out for us. So let's start the conversation here. Given the current situation in Afghanistan, do you believe that military morale is at a dangerous low?
I think I speak for a lot of our Americans as well as our veterans in saying that what has transpired is very disheartening as we're seeing the current evacuation unfolding. I know that in the news recently, we've all seen a certain Lieutenant Colonel, Marine Battalion Commander, express his feelings so strongly that he was willing to resign his commission over this. I've been fielding personally a lot of questions from many of other Afghanistan veterans that have served over there over the 20 years, to include Gold Star family members that have asked me, was my son or daughter's life and their service, was it worth it? So yes, I believe that with what's going on right now, it can be a destabilizing, have a destabilizing impact on many of our troops right now as they're trying to watch what's going on and they're trying to do their mission that's given to them.
And Colonel Reyes, what key mistakes have been made in the U.S. withdrawal there from Afghanistan, and are those mistakes salvageable at this point?
Okay, so to your second part of your question, yes, it's always salvageable, but it will have to take a little bit of a rudder change. I would first like to say this, that the president is responsible for ensuring that our national security interests are fulfilled. If at any time, like in Afghanistan, he makes the decision that we've accomplished what we needed to and we need to withdraw, then I think the military, as the instrument of power, salutes the flag and we move out and we execute that. What we have seen, my opinion, is that we've been given the directive withdraw out of Afghanistan. Now, I can tell you, we've heard a lot of conversation going on about policy and strategy. I used to be the director of the intelligence campaign plans in Afghanistan from 2011, 2012. So I was directly involved in planning for all the different types of contingencies to include the withdrawals. And I can tell you, withdrawing out of a country, ending an endless war, is not a policy and strategy in and of itself. It's an action to be taken. Nonetheless, when the military is given the mission to plan for the withdrawal, and looking at and observing what I'm watching, I believe that there were some faulty assumptions that were made and thus drove courses of action that we're now seeing today unfold on television. Let me cover real quickly four of them. Number one is Bagram Airfield, a strategic airfield with a lot of capability for airlift, for evacuation, highly fortified, state-of-the-art equipment, and most importantly, an immediate footprint and presence in the theater so that we can, as required, conduct counter-terrorist responses. That's going to go to my fourth assumption.
Okay.
The second assumption is that we allow the Taliban to man our checkpoints, and that's problematic for a lot of reasons that you've seen on television. The third is that it's been stated by our administration that we have leverage over the Taliban in terms of dollars and diplomacy. I just have to say this, what they're forgetting are the other malign actors in theater that are playing an influence on this. ISIS-K, the Haqqani network, and of course, Russia and China. And then fourth, the fact that the administration has said that we have counter-terrorist capabilities that we can respond with over the horizon. What they're not mentioning is sufficient and timely counter-terrorist capabilities. The reporting has indicated that our drone capabilities have been launched offshore from a Persian Gulf state with an 8-hour flight time. I can tell you, as a previous military planner, from the time an incident happens on the ground to the missile being fired, if it takes 8 hours, that's not timely for our men and women that are fighting on the ground with bad guys. So I
Colonel-
believe from assumption perspective, it's been problematic.
Colonel Reyes, we truly appreciate your expertise and thanks so much for joining us this morning. We'll have to leave the conversation there, but we will absolutely check back on you as this continues to be a developing situation there in Afghanistan. Thanks so much for being here with us.
Yes, thank you, Colonel.
Thank you for having me.